Okay,
Mike and
this is our last class today, and you know, thanks for all your attention, and it's been a lot of fun. We're going to have a tournament today, and short rack 8-ball is something near and dear to my heart. I love the game because I think it's a lot more fun actually than 8-ball. And that kind of gets to my quote for the day. How many of you have Nike equipment?
What?
Nike equipment.
Nike?
All right. What does Nike tell everybody? What's their
Just
say?
do it.
Just do it. To me, that's one of the most important things in learning to be a better pool player. I mean, pool players in general have an excuse or want to whine about just about everything. You know, blaming their misses on this and that. But one thing I love about the Nike saying is that it completely, you know, rises above all the excuses and things, and just learning to accept what happens. And I see a lot of players that I've known for years, they get burnt out because they get so frustrated with this game. It's a hard game, trust me. All right, so today what I like to do before we play the tournament, you're going to get a chance to play as many people as possible. But at the end, we'll have the two people with the best records will play off one game, and third and fourth will play off for that place as well. But I think you'll have a lot of fun playing this game. And again, it'll just be using 9 balls, 4 solids, 4 stripes. Okay, the title of the class today is Everything You Always Wanted to Know About Pool, but Were Afraid to Ask. Today is your opportunity to pick your instructor's brain. So I thought we would start out, you know, just at any questions you've had over the last 5 weeks that you might want to ask about. And also we're going to address Roy's question about when the cue ball is frozen to the object ball. And last night, guess what? That happened twice in my challenge match. I played Ron Rutan last night and won $200 in the ladder challenge, which was really fun. But twice we had the cue ball and the object ball frozen. Maybe we should start there because I think it's a good place to start. Now, let's say, here's an example of it. I've got the cue ball frozen on the 9 like this. Now, a lot of people might say that as I shoot the 9 in the side pocket, they might say, oh, you fouled, you went right through it. No. Under BCA rules, if they're frozen together, as long as you make a nice smooth stroke through it, it's not considered a double hit, as long as they are frozen. Did you all know that?
Yep.
All right.
So again. So again.
Yeah.
The mechanics.
Okay. Now, if they are frozen, a lot of times, like last night, we had to get a referee to check it. Because the rule changes if there's a little bit of space in between the balls, like just a 1/16 of an inch like that. Then I would, if I did this, did you hear the double hit? That would be considered a foul ball in hand.
Could you do that again, please?
All right.
I'm here.
All right, that one had a little bit of space in between. Now, because of that, listen to the sound. Listen to the sound. That was a double hit.
Now do the...
All right, now the frozen one has a different sound. The frozen one has a completely different sound. Listen. Well, to me it does.
Well, no, it's...
All right. All right.
There is one
Now,
way to shoot that frozen one.
well, we're going to get there. Okay, let's do a step at a time, Chuck. Okay. All right.
See whether that
Go
one-
ahead. You had a question?
I've never tried to catch it on the,
All right.
on the phone.
Now,
camera, but seriously,
one of the
that-
things, and you're going to like this. There's a lot of ways to throw a ball. Let's do the frozen first, then we'll do the when there's a little bit of space. Look at the 3 and the cue ball are frozen, but notice this time that the 3 is pointed to the left of the side pocket. Now, because it's frozen, I can shoot right through it. But if I shoot right through it, I'm going to miss the 3 because it's going to hit the rail right here. But if I move to this side of the cue ball and shoot it like this, look at how it threw the ball to the other side of the pocket. In other words, when they're frozen together like that, you can, by shooting one way or another to the side, you can actually throw the 3 ball. Let's try that again. You notice the 3 is to the left of the pocket. That would be like a cue ball coming from this angle and hitting a frozen combination. It would throw the 3 to the right. So watch how the 3 pushes to the right here. Now, the other way, let's look at it the other way. Let's say the 7 is aimed to the right side of the pocket now. Now, is this makeable? The 7's aimed right here. If I shoot from this angle, probably hit that a little too hard. Let's try it again. That time it had enough to go. Remember, the softer you hit it, the more it's going to throw. Okay? So you have the opportunity, when 2 balls are frozen together, including the cue ball, to actually make shots that would look very difficult.
Does it matter if you use high or low? Or?
Not really. What's happening when I shoot, like for this shot in particular, the one's aimed right there. What's important is that I'm shooting the cue ball from this angle. So when I shoot across it like that, the 1 is taking on some right English and pushing slightly to the right. In other words, just like we learned with frozen combinations. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of physics, a lot of science in this game, but also a lot of art as well. Hey, there's Sherry. Yeah, go ahead.
If you had it like this, okay, say right there.
Okay.
How would you, there's different ways about doing it. They say just hit this, so it's hung up on.
On the point like
Yes.
that? Well, that shot would be impossible. Yeah, because there's no way to cut it in because it's going to bounce off the point and miss. But if I had the ball over here, it's actually makeable by hitting it extremely hard.
Yes.
Because it's going to go through the point.
Push through the cushion.
Yeah, push through the cushion. Yeah. Yeah, this one can be made. So right through the cushion because I hit it hard. Hi, Mike. Now, God, that's a very advanced shot. Most people don't know that. Did you read about that, or?
That's all I do is read about
All right. All right. All right. Now we're going to talk about when the cue ball and the object ball are slightly apart. Now, like last night, we had to get referees to come in and make sure that the balls were frozen.
We saw that.
Oh, you saw it?
We watched it.
Yeah.
But our phone died the second of the last game, so we don't know who won.
Well, I won.
You were on the hill when we.
I looked
Well,
this morning, it wasn't
I
up.
broke and ran the last rack, so it was pretty exciting.
Oh,
At least for me,
man.
yeah.
I know my phone just went clunk.
All right, there's a little space between those 2 balls. Now, you can't make a stroke and go right through the shot. That would be considered a double hit. I've already demonstrated that it's a different sound, but listen. And you notice how the cue ball followed it. Yeah, that is definitely a foul. Not only because I scratched, but because I double hit the cue ball. All right, when you have a little bit of space like that, what can I do to make it a legal shot? Anybody know? So I don't foul?
Let's try to crawl.
And I can also do it another way. This is probably a more effective way. Since the cue ball is so close to the 14, I can actually hit it by hitting it to the side like this. it's easier to make a legal shot like that. That's the way I would shoot it in competition. And because it's so close, as long as it's pretty much lined up to the pocket, I can go like this. And it's pretty easy. And you notice I'm not really following through because I don't want to double hit the cue ball.
You don't want to what?
Double hit the cue ball. And that happens a lot more than you might imagine. A lot of times you'll have shots like this. Let's say you're playing 8-ball and you're in a position like this. You'll see a lot of people do this. In other words, I'm going to try to follow the cue ball forward and then shoot the one next. That's a foul. You can even hear the double hit. But is there a way to do that without fouling? Let's see.
Draw it.
Well, I'm not going to draw it, but I'm going to, in other words, instead of going through like a normal stroke, I'm hitting kind of up at the cue ball like that. You see how I did that and then I got my cue tip out of the way? That's a good hint because that shot comes up and I still got position on the ball. All right, any other questions about cue ball and object ball close together?
Can't you draw it back too?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have
Such a good lead.
Well, I wanted to get position. But what Chuck is saying, yeah, you can draw back. It's not as easy because you can't really stroke through it.
Because the cue ball.
When they're this close, you got to elevate your cue quite high. And as you hit it, you don't want to really follow through. It's like that. I had to just kind of
Yeah.
in and out. Because if I let the cue stick go through, it would have been a foul.
explain the other rule of your
All right.
Above your shoulder.
up high.
You stick above your shoulder.
Oh, that's just in certain arenas.
Yeah.
They don't play those rules in professional or international rules. What they're talking about is some leagues say you can only get the cue this high.
Right.
Yeah, that's not
You almost
right.
have to have a jump cue.
Yeah. See, last night we played normal rules and we were using jump cues. We could do anything you wanted. And that's the way it is in real international pool and things like that. I think that's APA. Is that APA?
That's APA.
Okay.
All right, would you please show a jump shot, since I'm hearing all this
Oh.
talk about jump?
Okay.
Notice I'm pulling out another cue because to do a jump shot, you need a specialized cue, and I use my break cue. And I use my break cue that has a jump cue as part of it. All I do is take off the back end. Because to get the cue up in the air like this in a normal position, with all that extra weight back here, it's almost impossible. Oh, he's got one too.
Someone actually had to show me that. Marshall gave me this.
All right, here's an example of a jump shot. Let's say you have stripes, and you're in a position like this. Okay. Now I could kick for it and try to make it, but the jump shot is quite a bit easier. And what I'm going to do on this shot is I'm going to aim it like a normal shot. I'll just imagine the two's not even there. But then as I get at my line of aim, I'm going to start elevating. Is this high enough, you think? No. Is this high enough?
No.
Is this high enough? All right, that's about right. That's why physically a lot of people can't do jump shots, because their arms and shoulders simply don't work like that. I do yoga every day, so that helps a lot. But start over again. Line it up. Continue to elevate. And you notice my arm is not like this, it's a cross. See how my arm is?
Yeah.
That way I can go all the way through with some power. If it's like this, I would be all tied up at the top.
Looks like about 65 degrees.
What?
Looks like about 65 degrees from.
All right. Well, I never measured, so I... All right, let's shoot it this time. Okay. And that's a pretty easy jump shot.
No, sure.
Well, but you notice I didn't hit it that hard. A lot of times people try to hit it too hard, and if you try to hit it too hard, the cue ball does this. You try to hit it with too much power, the cue ball is going to skid along the cloth and hit the 9-ball. It's more of a down and out type shot. You don't have to murder the ball, but you have to have the right angle.
Can you control the cue ball for position on that?
Yeah. When you're doing a jump shot and you want to draw it, your angle is a little different. It's going to be more in the middle like that. If you want it to follow, you hit it up here. Down here to draw or stop, up here to follow. But, you know, I'm not there yet. You got to be, you know, a lot of those pros, they practice those all the time and they get really good at it.
Did you see the one into the rail where there's ball here? The ball you want to make is here. Cue ball is here. You can hit it into the rail and jump it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a trick shot.
I
Yeah.
saw it everywhere. But I was just baffled by that.
And a lot of times when you're hooked, it's kind of interesting. You have shots like this. See if I can get it.
For space.
Yeah. But anything else you want to learn before we start the tournament? Anything to go over? Anything about those frozen balls again? Somebody asked about this earlier. Maybe this is something you're interested in. A lot of times you have shots like this where the ball is on the rail and your cue ball is close to the rail. And you might think, well, these are easy shots, but they're not, are they? You got to hit them almost perfect. Now remember how when we were shooting from this angle, we actually hit a credit card's width into the rail first? That's because from this angle, when it hits there, it kind of sinks into the rail and it kind of hugs the rail all the way into the pocket. But when you're almost straight in like this, what I advise you to do is just imagine the rail is not there. Because you don't want to hit, if you hit any part of the rail first on this shot, you're going to miss it every time. You almost want to just see the two in the center of the pocket and completely disregard the rail. It's not an easy shot at all. And then there's another shot that comes up where they're both on the rail, like this. And this is extremely difficult. How do you make this one? Does anybody remember or know?
Right.
English.
Okay, which English?
Right.
Right on the left.
Left. The reason why it's left is because left, when you hit it at rolling
Left goes
speed,
right.
it's gonna hold the rail.
That's what I'm doing wrong.
See, right English would go that way.
Yeah, it's good.
But on this shot,
Right where it stands.
and a lot of times this is physically impossible because sometimes the tables are off. You have the point sticking out or something like that. But this shot comes up a lot more than you would
It's behind
imagine.
that one.
And you notice the speed I'm going to hit it. See how the left English is holding the rail?
Yeah.
That's a good shot, 'cause especially down here, it's actually easy to make.
Peter, how much English?
Just that one tip. In fact, this shot is very simple because it's closer to the pocket and I don't have to go past this. It's always hard to go past there. Is it straight?
No,
Okay.
that one
All
protrudes.
right. Now this one's a lot easier. I'm using one Q-tip right English, but watch how it hugs the rail. See how it just stays on the rail? That's because the right English holds it. All right. Rail shots.
All good.
Combinations, feints.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to play?
Peter,
Yeah.
I have a question. Maybe
Sure.
you already explained it, when you explained in
Oh,
English.
okay.
When anchor situation. For example, the only pocket I can use against this one, and cross my balls, and it is just not enough to go.
Oh, I see. I know what you're getting at.
Oh, good.
It is almost.
I know what you're talking about. Nyla's asking about this shot. You want to look closer. This is a really good shot because this comes up a lot. In other words, if you look at the 14 ball, it doesn't go, does it, Mike?
No.
Or yeah.
Not quite.
14 doesn't go.
No.
This is a case where it's actually a simple shot with English. What kind of English do I use? Left English. What does left English do? It's going to be spinning this way, so when it hits the 14, it's going to throw it slightly to the right. So this one is unmakeable, but watch as the cue ball, with all that left spin, will throw the 14 in the center of the pocket. And I'm using a little more than normal. And it threw it to the
Yeah.
right, didn't it?
Yeah.
And the same thing would be available going the other way,
So
too.
when you do that, are you hitting it at 9 o'clock?
Exactly, that's exactly where I hit it. You can tell.
Yeah.
Same thing on this shot, too. Yeah, that's about right. Mike, verify it doesn't go, does it?
It won't go.
All right, all right. So I'm going to use about 2 tips of right English. I want to throw it a lot. And we got to hit that soft.
Yeah.
All right, you got to hit
That's
it
what grabs
because
it.
the softer you hit it, the more it's going to throw it. If you hit it too firm, the English won't take it off. All right.
All right, you're always doing it at either 3 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah, let me explain that. That's a good question because when you're using English, if you want to maximize your English, always keep it in the horizontal axis, the center of the ball. Because
That's
look at
where
it,
the
it's
most
round.
ball is. Yeah.
So if you hit the far center right, you can actually put more English on the shot.
Right.
That's why I used 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock English on this. Because I got more
Nice.
spin.
What is the maximum number? All right, so if we're using Q-tips, what is the maximum we can go from midline?
I would say 2.5 tips.
2.5 tips.
All right, like here's the center, 1 tip, 2 tips, 2.5. That's, anything 3 is a miscue,
Yeah.
unless you got it really well chalked or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But when you're adjusting to move over to that 1 tip
yeah,
or 2 tips or 2.5,
yeah.
it changes the whole.
How do you aim it?
Yeah.
That's what
How,
he's-
how
Are you
come the
still
ball
aiming?
still goes straight?
Are you still aiming for your contact point?
Well, that's a great point.
seems
That you kind of got to feel that.
Now, that goes back to something that you learned the first class about your pre-shot routine. I already know, before I even get down on the shot, that I'm using English. Okay?
Right.
So I'll be aiming it from up there, not as I get down, moving my tip around.
Right.
In other words, if I have a shot like this,
Can you show us a shot that will take 2 or 2.5?
yeah. Here's one I had last night.
Tips,
Whatever.
You had everything last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now here's a shot where I want to use a lot of English, because what I have to do here is go 1 rail, 2 rail, 3 rail, 4 rails, and get shape on the 11.
Okay.
All right. And notice I'm chalking real good because I'm going to be using a lot of English.
Yeah.
And one thing that might surprise you is I won't hit it near as hard as you think I will. All right? But I already know I'm using all that English. So I'm actually getting down on the cue ball from up here with my tip just going right down to the left side of the cue ball.
And you're going all the way 2.5.
2.5, yeah. And I want to go a little high this time. The reason why I'm going higher is if I use center, it'll have more spin, but it'll tend to come across to here more. I want it to go follow into the rail here, here, and then there. Okay, and I'm seeing exactly my aim point, swinging down in the shot. And you notice I'm doing some warm-up strokes. Didn't hit it as hard as you might think, right? Look at how far it went. That's because when it hit the rail, it had 2.5 tips of spin on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. But I didn't, here's where people go wrong. They get down in the shot not sure about what they're going to do. And they'll just kind of think, oh, I need left English, so I'll hit it over, I'll move over there and move here. It changes everything in your shoulders and your arms and throws everything off. You got to have everything worked out in your brain before you get down to the shot. That's the secret to being a good player.
That's almost, if you had just hit it from the middle, it's almost a scratch shot. There's a lot of times that shot scratches.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean. If I hit it too much in the middle, I'd go here, here, and inside.
Right.
I used the follow on that last shot so I could come further down the table. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right. Okay, let's get the tournament